Commander, would you enlighten us? What is required for sentience?
Intelligence, self-awareness, consciousness.
Prove to the court that I am sentient.
This is absurd. We all know you're sentient.
So I am sentient, but Commander Data is not.
That's right.
Why?
Hello and welcome to Star Trek Mission Report. I'm Josh.
I'm Steve.
So yeah, it's been a long time since we've done this show.
Couple weeks at least.
Couple weeks, yeah. That's generous.
A year and a couple weeks maybe. I don't know. It's been a long time. Too long. Way
Yes,
too long.
but first episode on video, so
Sorry.
yeah. I'm working on the set, so
Set's great. It's
thanks.
this.
Oh,
We
whatever.
work on.
I'm hiding all mine mostly. Just cover it up. So yeah, usually just a refresher on this show. We do some news and occasionally we'll talk about movies or certain episodes. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to do some news for you, and then we're going to get into a classic episode. I mean, they're all pretty much classics, I guess.
To us.
Good or
right?
bad classics.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah,
but
yes.
an old TNG episode from '89.
Yes. The Measure of a Man.
Measure of a Man.
The Measure of a Man. That was a very memorable episode.
If you're a Star Trek fan, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's classic. It's classic. So yeah, we'll get into that for sure. First off, got this beer here from Trek Fest that's thrown in Riverside, Iowa once a year. Hoping to go this year. I've never been, so
I'm hoping to go with you.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot of fun. But they have, their alcohols, limited edition.
Yeah.
And so a friend of mine was able to pick this up for us. It's Bajoran Ale. So that's what it looks like.
Yeah, Bajoran Ale.
Yeah, I probably could put my dollars through
Cork on
college if I didn't open it,
Yeah.
but oh well.
We have a Ferengi on the
yeah, isn't that cool?
label as opposed to a Bajoran.
Yes. Yeah, right? Yeah, what's up with that? Well, Cork's got to put his name on everything.
I'm sure he just branded it. And,
Yeah, Cork's Bar, it says, so.
It's Quarks.
Yes, but we're sampling that here, and I've waited for a while to do this for this
let's
episode.
not
So
wait any further.
Yeah, let's try it. Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
All right.
Here we go.
Spit it out.
That's good. Tastes kind of like an IPA.
Yeah, it does.
A little bit.
It does. It's got a good aftertaste.
Well, we'll see you guys later. I'm going to
see
drink
ya.
the rest of this.
It's a Playboy hour. Hey. That's good. Oh.
Got a cigar if you want one. No.
Awesome. I want to know the difference between a good one and a bad one.
Right.
So.
I don't either. I don't smoke cigars.
It's funny because Jonah, does Field of Geeks with us, and it's on the network. He smokes, and I'm sure Mitch is more of a, sophisticate.
Yeah, aficionado.
Yes, thank you. And it's funny because I always assumed Jonah was that way. He's like, I can't tell a difference.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cigar. So I was like, oh, that's really surprising to know.
I know I've had maybe 3 or 4 my whole life.
Yeah.
They all taste the same.
Right.
Like shit. So. Smell good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There goes our sponsors for cigars.
Sorry.
Oh, well.
Yeah, our sponsors from Cuba are really upset.
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
infuse it with this, and it'll probably be really good. So
Very good. This actually is really good.
It is. I got more.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Take some on the way home.
Oh, yeah.
Kidding. No.
I could drink 3 between here and my house, probably.
Probably.
We'll
I'm
find
weak.
out.
I'm weak.
We'll find it.
That'll probably just knock me out.
I know.
Like,
This is funny
take
for me.
over. Yeah. So yeah, we'll get into some news real quick here. So this is really neat. Night Court has been brought back.
Yeah.
Probably last year. I don't know if you had a chance to see it.
I have. I've watched the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Sweet. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good throwback.
Yeah.
For what it is, and I didn't hate it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, John Larroquette being back really helps.
He was funny.
Sell it.
And
yeah.
I mean, it's, I think it's done in the style of the 80s type sitcom. Yeah. And, I think people are, so from some of the critique, I just had a stroke.
It's the ale.
From some of the critique that I've read,
Quark laced it up.
Yeah, Quark. What the hell?
Root beer.
Yeah, they're just talking about how it's too old timey. Well, I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, well, yeah, the sets look identical to. Yeah, it's all retro looking. Fun. Yeah, it's like they never had a remodel since showing off the air.
Right.
But yeah, so John Larroquette recently on an episode called The Wrath of Comic-Con. Get it? Anyway, he dressed up as a Klingon again for the first time since 84's Star Trek 3, where he played Maltz, I believe.
Yeah.
He was Grudge's second in command. He's actually the one that Kirk's still supposed to kill eventually. I'll kill you later. But I thought that was really cool. I was like, he looks pretty good. It made him up pretty well, and yeah, it was just like a nice little knock or a throwback, if you will. And yeah, so I need to check that episode out because I think it'd be really cool, and there probably maybe some inside baseball type jokes in it.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah. But
funny.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I guess he was interviewed back in 89.
Yeah.
We're on 89, because the episode. I guess I don't know if he's just kidding back then, but he was hoping to like reprise the part, but it never happened. So, but yeah. Anyway, of course, Night Court, featured. They made fun of Trekkies in a way. They also had Brent Spiner on there as a regular, well, not a regular, a reoccurring.
Yeah.
Bob Wheeler. He's just like a buffoon of a criminal. Until he got a real gig, like a better gig, if you will, on Star Trek. So, yeah, I'll check that out. That's really cool. I love when they can just kind of, play that nerd card. It's like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
To have him back in that costume.
Oh yeah, that was pretty neat.
And most people didn't even know that was him probably until I didn't know until 20 years ago or so when I was watching the behind the scenes on the DVDs.
Yeah, I saw the name. I remember seeing the name in the credits.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then it kind of clicked, but it was like, wow.
He's a funny dude. Yeah.
He's a funny dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. Too bad he didn't get used more in Trek, but yeah. Well, maybe down the road.
Yeah, maybe.
They'll bring him back. They'll bring back Maltz. He's still alive. Rest in peace to Gary Graham. He was known for Robot Jocks, Alienation, the TV series. Mm-hmm. He was also on Star Trek Enterprise. Yep. Played Saval, Ambassador Saval, the Vulcan. And he actually reprised that part for Prelude to Axanar. That came out a little over 10 years ago, I believe. It was a fan film.
Yeah.
A lot of chaotic behind the scenes of it still happening, but the original intention I think was anyway, check out Prelude to Axanar. He's showcased in that. And there's also a scene he shot outside of that called the Vulcan scene, which is actually directed by Robert Meyer Burnett, who I follow, and he's a huge Trekkie, and did a lot for the Next Generation Blu-rays, the whole full series that they released. So yeah, that was a bummer. It was like a sudden thing. But, I think I agree with most people's criticisms of people who play Vulcans. A lot of people don't play them well. They're really shitty.
Yeah, they really kind of are, aren't they?
Yeah, they don't. They don't have any charisma. They don't originality, I guess you could say. Like they kind of take Nimoy's performance and just make it more robotic, I guess.
Yeah, and that's quite a high bar.
Yeah,
he set.
Yeah,
Leonard Nimoy, and
of course, yes, yes.
I think a few people have done really well with it. Robin Curtis, who played Saavik, I think she did great. Mm-hmm. Tim Russ as Tuvok.
Yes.
Those are some standouts, but yeah, a lot of them, I don't know.
Gary Graham, though, I think he, I don't know, have you gotten Enterprise yet? Mm-hmm. Okay. He's one of them. He really played that part well. Yeah, he was able to balance it, and he played off of emotion, which a lot of people mistake, the Vulcan way, as not having emotion. And this isn't my own observation. I've heard it from other people who are a lot smarter, and I'm like, that makes sense. Yeah. I love that. I'm gonna keep that in my mind because looking back, yes, it's like, damn, yeah, a lot of people they're just robotic, and the bad wigs didn't help either. You gotta have a good wig, but. Kirstie Alley, speaking of Vulcans, she was not my first Saavik.
Right.
Because I came to, I think, Star Trek 4 was my first Star Trek film, and then I went backwards a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, actually went forward a little bit, and then I went backwards. I wish I could like go back in time and rediscover all of them again. I would rent one by one from the rental store, and I was so excited because I was told of this world.
Yeah.
It always felt like there was more.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like to finally see everything, and it's like, wow, that was really cool. And then Star Trek 2, of course, Kirstie Alley, played Lieutenant Saavik. I think she did a pretty good job. I think she's like was she half Romulan and half Vulcan, I think? They kind of
I don't remember.
Loosey-gooseyed that. I think she was, but then they kind of seemed to just go full Vulcan. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong, but so recently a filmmaker who's directed a series, Icons Unleashed. She's doing a James Bond version right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was interviewed by Cinema Blend, and I guess he's been doing work for Gene Roddenberry's Wagon Train to the Stars. I don't know if it's like it's just listed as a new project.
Yeah.
So anyway, he got, this is obviously before she passed, he got to interview her, and they kind of cracked why she didn't return to 3, because there's so much mystery behind it.
Yeah.
And I like Robin Curtis, and I know we talked before the recording. Yes, she really did capture that Vulcan side a lot more. I just love Kirstie's look though when she's first introduced to us. Like, you're also seeing the maroon uniforms for the first time, and they're just like pristine. And then as they go along, and they kind of get a little more like worn. I think just that image itself. Was something that was memorable to me, and
sure.
Still a high bar for Trek performers. Kirstie Alley actually finally made a Comic-Con appearance. It was probably maybe 5 years ago before she passed away or so. It was really interesting. So I like when they bring people you don't really see often there. And I know she's quirky.
Sure. That
aside. So anyway, and I also heard of her on another show. I think it was her mouth. She said that she was surprised she wasn't fired from Star Trek 2. She basically lied her way into the movie, saying she had all this background and experience, and I guess she didn't, and she struggled with it. But I mean, in the end result, I think it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And definitely high up there on things I remember about that movie. So anyway, she was interviewed by this director, and she basically said that it was probably William Shatner probably had some involvement. Basically, what they did was they gave her a low salary for the Star Trek 3 appearance, and so they basically did it so she would say no. I guess during the filming of 2, she was she's a young person, she said, and she was proud of her body, and she wanted to show it off more because Saavik was very reserved, ponytail, no makeup, all that, very stern, and she just kind of wanted to give her some sex appeal. So she was saying
wrong species.
Yes, right. It's like, do you know what this?
Right.
Do you know what this is? I mean, ballsy for not, and she didn't clearly because she just, as long as I'm remembering it correctly, she just kind of conned her way into the movie.
Yeah.
But it worked out. There was that bathrobe scene. She actually pointed out to this director, if you notice, I'm changed by the end of the movie, appearance. She's got her hair down. She's wearing makeup. During the movie, she's in a bathrobe at one point in the turbo lift.
Yeah.
And I never really, as I've seen it more, I've noticed it. And she's actually got more emotional too. Mm-hmm. So I have noticed that. So I'm like, and that could be her too. I want to cry. It's so hard to just contain, But anyway, she basically, she just kind of was very outgoing to the hair and makeup, sucking up to them. And this is from her saying she had something going on with the director. I don't know. The director denied it. Nicholas Meyer, of course. But anyway, so basically she just, she placated to the hair and makeup, and they would let her get away with more and more things to wear and her looks and everything. But that was basically what she was saying. I think Shatner was like, not happy with that, and I think it was more than that too, of course. And then, but Nimoy recounted years later in his book that she wanted more than the original actors for the movie. So yeah, it was just all kinds of, and I think I've even heard about scheduling conflicts. So it's like I don't know what's true, what's not, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it sucks, and I know Shatner haters probably love this. Like, yeah. Like, you know, I just view Shatner as like he's a person, and he does show many signs that he's not like, he doesn't think he's hot shit, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, flawed for sure, right? But, yeah. So, yeah, I was just kind of, shocked to hear about that. And yeah, I hope most of it's not true, but it's possible. I mean, I think you also got to look at the person. Like, Shatner was like placating into his age for that movie, and they probably had no idea what the future was going to be for them. They were lucky to get movies.
Absolutely.
First, I mean, it's never happened before. So, but speaking of Shatner, there's a William Shatner doc coming out in March. I just found out about March 22nd. Legion M's putting this out. It's actually their fan first financing program they've started. So this is like 100% fan financed documentary, and he's waited for years to tell his story, but he wanted to do it the right way. He's been approached a lot by other people, and of course, decided to wait on it. And then he met this creative team, and it just all clicked. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to actually be in theaters.
Yeah, nice.
So, I don't know if we'll get it around here, but we'll see.
Well, if we do, I'd hit that one.
I would love to. Yeah, it'd probably be like a Fathom event, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Or something. Which, I'm not stranger to those.
Nope, I've been to plenty of those.
Yeah, we saw a couple Star Treks through that, and you've done your
Mystery Science Theater and Rift Tracks.
Yes. So, so that's coming soon. I look forward to it.
We just did Terrell and I went to see Godzilla 2000.
Oh, cool.
On the Fathom event thing.
Nice.
About a month or so ago, I think.
That's cool. Yeah. I like when they do those throwbacks.
Oh, so great.
Well, that's what's great about with the Star Trek films, the old ones. Like, the first one I saw in theaters was Star Trek 6.
Yeah.
I just was too young, and my parents probably didn't really have desires to go to the movies, so they probably thought it was too young for the more serious.
Seen them all.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I've seen them all ever since. I don't think I've missed any of them in the theater. So we got some film announcements. We got a Kelvin prequel movie. For years they've been trying to get a Star Trek 4 out of the Abrams films. That is still happening. It's active development right now, but yeah, this is going to be an origin story that's set, another origin story. It's set a few decades before the 09 Star Trek.
Okay.
So, yeah. One thing that's kind of promising about it is, I guess it's going to be directed by the Star Wars Andor director.
Okay. Nice.
Toby Haynes. So, yeah, I think that was a pretty good show. Yeah, I'd like to see how it turns out. I mean, given the track record of Star Trek 4's development, it's been through many people, writers and stuff, so it's kind of one of those, I believe it when I see it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but, I don't know. Anymore, I'm just like, I'm done with the Kelvin. I'm done with the secret hideout shit, Bad Robot. I'm like, I want my Star Trek the way Picard Season 3 did it. Like,
right.
That's what I want.
Yeah, they did it right. I mean,
yeah.
We're throwing out a prequel to a universe that everyone's basically forgotten about.
Yeah.
So.
Which was kind of a prequel to begin with.
Right.
And it's such a mess right now because all these other new Star Trek shows are prequels as well. And you have two people playing the same character.
Yeah.
And it's just confusing. Like, it's just a mess overall, I think. And that's what was refreshing about Picard Season 3. It's like kind of got back to where we left off, really.
Yeah, I think they felt the backlash enough.
I hope so, yeah.
Because it was. I mean, that was the way to do it.
Of course. The writer for this new movie is... he wrote Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which I think it was an entertaining movie. I'm not saying it's Oscar caliber, but he did the Lego Batman movie. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Maybe they already got fired. I don't know. But yeah, JJ's producing this, of course, his Bad Robot. Section 31, that just started production.
Finally. I was just thinking about that the other day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that Oscar really helped get that going.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's kind of promising, and I hope, of course, Michelle Yeoh's reprising her role as Philippa Georgia, who's like the evil version, the mirror version. So yeah, it's promising. I hope she has. I mean, gosh, I would hope the script's pretty good if she's coming back.
So. She's phenomenal.
Right, and yeah, you don't want to do a stinker right after your big award, you know. Yeah, because that's quite something, and they're kind of riding the coattails of that win, really. But yeah, this will be a Paramount Plus film, so it won't be theatrical. They might have a special screening, but they're filming in Toronto, which saves a lot of money, and that's pretty much all new Star Trek production aside from Picard. That was all Los Angeles because Stewart had enough power to fight that. So yeah, more pricey of a show, that's for sure. But yeah, Section 31. I've heard a lot of people say this, and I don't know have you finished DS9 yet?
No.
Have you gotten to that part yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. But anyway, I've by all accounts, like, this is something that's kind of against what DS9 was setting up, like the whole premise. So I want to be happy about it. It's not Prime.
Yeah. I'm
just not accepting it as Prime. I'll see it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I want it to succeed. I really do. But the track record, it's got Discovery people behind it. Not really like, I don't know.
Completely optimistic.
Yeah.
Cautious.
Get yourself a Terry Metalis and we'll talk. But yeah, that'll be out 2025. So, yeah.
I'll be dead by then.
We were talking about Picard season 3. I think we talked over messages. It's been out for a while, obviously.
Yeah.
It's all out there now on Paramount Plus. That's the only season I bought.
Yeah.
I didn't buy that whole bullshit discs, like complete series. Like, I got enough coasters, but
yeah, right.
I'm sorry. I watched every episode, and but yeah, 3 is finally what we needed, I think, and sounds like you agree.
Totally. I mean, the first 2 seasons for me had great moments.
Yes,
but
I
it was
agree.
just still a mess, and you can have great moments in a mess, and they did. But yeah, season 3 was just, I mean, 2 thumbs up.
Let's do a fan edit of the first 2 seasons. Right? Yeah, and I will heads up or shout out to Paramount. They I guess they messed up on the last disc in season 3. It was missing an effects shot, and it was super slick process. I didn't even get to that disc yet, and so I was like, should I get that? Because I thought it was just for like UK releases, but a friend of mine was like, you better get on it. So it was super easy. Emailed them, and they sent me a new disc. So I got 2 last discs. So
there you go.
But yeah, I will say, it's kind of a dark looking show, lighting wise. Wow, a Blu-ray is beautiful.
Nice.
Because that streaming shit's gone. It's just like physical media, please, just
all day.
Yes. So yeah, I was happy to own that, and it's beautiful. And I still haven't seen all the special features. The Enterprise D rebuild I still need to watch.
Nice.
But I'm really excited. Fun. Yeah, it is a true treat. And that leads into another possible film. Patrick Stewart was saying on the press tour of promoting the last season of Picard that he still feels like they could do another movie, expand upon what was introduced in season 3. And I guess supposedly it's being written, or it's been written, and he's supposed to get it any time now. This was back in November when he said this, so I don't know. I mean, just because it's written doesn't mean it's going to happen. We'll see. I mean, Paramount doesn't seem to be getting the message. At least Kurtzman doesn't seem to be getting the message that people loved season 3 of Picard. Like, give people what they want. Yeah. Give them Terry Metalis, who did a great job. Of course, they've titled their petition campaign as Star Trek Legacy. I did sign it. It's just basically just keeping the party going with
keeping
7.
the party going.
Yep, 7 in command and
Captain 7.
Yep. That's what
coolest ending.
it's not that hard.
No,
like
it's
just
not that
just
hard.
make that happen. And actually, I started to like Raffi.
Yeah.
I kind of cringed when they bring up old shit like from the other. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But you had to address it, I guess. And yeah. So anyway, finally, we're gonna get to the Measure of a Man.
Measure of a Man.
So I don't know if you would like to start.
I just, for me, this is one of, I think it's the best TNG episode.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. I mean, I know everyone's gonna throw best of both worlds at me, and
Sure.
all these things, and hit me over the head. I'm probably canceled at this point, which is fine. There's really nothing to cancel over here. But this one was, I mean, everyone says, oh, it didn't really pick up steam. The show didn't until season 3 and kind of started moving forward. But in season 2, this episode, which was right after A Matter of Honor. Those are 2 back-to-back just...
Yep.
Holy crap, great episode.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the episode after Measure of a Man was a Wesley Crusher-centric episode.
So that's our next one.
That's our, yeah, we can, well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to rotate really great episodes, then we're going to rotate.
He's going to send us a letter of not recommendation.
Yeah, not really. But, so anyway, I don't know. This is just one of those episodes where you watch it, and in every time I watch it, I don't turn it off.
Yeah.
It's just, this is a phenomenal episode, well acted. And it really, I think, was the first Next Generation episode to really just say, look, we're a standout show.
Yeah.
We might have some cool episodes here and there, but this is, we're the real deal. I think this was the first episode to cement that. Sure. At least in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it was really solid. I remember when they put TNG out on like TV, they did like a marathon. It was on TNN Network at the time, I think it was. But anyway, they were changing their look, and so they were including like more pop shows, and this was one of them. They had this whole marathon, and I think that might have been when I first saw that show, The Measure of the Man, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And it's I just watched it today, and I was surprised how it's so crazy. It feels short and simple in a way, but so much is in that.
Yeah, it's just packed.
And that just shows you the good writing that I don't think we have now.
Yeah.
I think the new ones are very bloated. They did have a courtroom drama last season, which was a little... It was almost there, but this is such good shit. Like, you can't ignore this stuff. It's really... It was really done well, and it was written by an ex-attorney. She actually got her story in due to the writer's strike at the time, I guess, because they needed scripts. Melinda Snodgrass is her name. She did a novelization of one of the TOS pocketbooks, so that was kind of like her intro, and that pocketbook became the Tears of the Singers. I'm not familiar with it, but she had some history there.
Yeah.
So, so much was... good courtroom drama in this episode. And that was the other thing. They were very, it was made affordable, to be kind. The space station, Starbase 173 in it, do you know that's actually Reliant upside down? Or not Reliant.
It was Regular One.
Yes. I was close.
Yes.
Same movie.
Same movie, yep.
Yeah. And I only know that, I did not know that then. I've only known it from seeing other people analyze the shit out of, they take the time to analyze things, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah.
It is, yeah.
It's crazy, yeah. And of course the space dock, which, the scales don't match, because like, how's that going to fit in there? Right. It's freaking huge. But that aside, they had to get creative. They didn't have the use of all these flashy special effects and CG, which I think if you take that out of current Star Trek, it wouldn't even be on. Like, I don't think people would... there's nothing there for me.
Story for Flash.
Yeah, right.
Whereas,
poo, pew, pew.
Right,
yeah.
and Next Generation had, story then Flash.
Right. It's like, that... If you can get that right, like, the action stuff will come action stuff would be a nice dessert, you know. But yeah, this might have been the first poker scene I think they introduced in the series. Okay, I was wondering. I didn't quite look further into it, but I'm like, because Data was learning how to play poker.
Yeah,
he had the visor on, which, you know, and I don't know how many poker scenes we had over the years of the show.
Did he have the visor scene on in this one?
He did. He did. Yeah.
So
probably not the same one, but it was a visor. Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved how they had the bookends on this episode.
Yes.
You had the poker scene at first, which also helped establish a point made in the courtroom drama.
Yes.
You know, and then the bookend of him forgiving Riker, so to speak.
Yes.
You know, it was that's the brilliance of the writing. You know, I mean, it was just, it's a regular, you know, 40-minute show. You had the bookend to help set it up.
Yep.
But was still kind of fun and stood on its own and started a tradition.
Yeah.
You know, in the series, and you had that really nice ending to it, and then all the meat in between. You know, it was a sandwich. It was a great sandwich.
It's great storytelling. I mean, it's just you said it. Just him showing, or them showing the relationships he had. Because, you know, as we go, that's going to be challenged. Like, well, do they even mean anything to him? He's just a machine, right? But Pulaski's in this. Since this is like our first time really talking about old Trek, what were your thoughts on Pulaski? Were you a fan? I know she only lasted one season.
Only lasted the one season. I remember her from the original series.
Yes.
You know, when she was on there. But I don't know. I like Beverly Crusher, you know. This character seemed a little more
bitchy,
a little harsher. Bitchy's a great word for it.
Steve's kinder.
Yeah, I'm kind. Yeah, so I'm completely fooling all of you being kind. But yeah, she was a little bit more rough around the edges, I think.
Yeah, and she did not get along with the cast from what I've seen on like documentaries and stuff. But I think there was some appeal there, and I think they did end up naming a ship or something after her, like in maybe in Picard season 3. I think there was some kind of USS Pulaski or something.
Did it blow up?
No. Well, maybe it did. Spoiler.
Wishful thinking.
She was at the helm.
Yeah.
Because after season 2, she's gone. I mean, it's just like, phew.
Yeah.
Who?
Never to be seen or heard from.
Yeah.
Again.
New phone. Who dis? Yeah. I will say this is like a tedious thing. I love the blues used in seasons 1 and 2 versus where we went with and I like the format of the uniforms, if you will, in the later seasons more. They went with like kind of like an aqua blue. Yeah. And I just these blues popped to me, and I guess I understand why they did what they did, but I don't know. It's just something like nitpicky. I'm like, I like her uniform. Like, I love that blue. And Maddox wears that blue too, of course. And Maddox, of course, comes on the scene when Picard's at the Starbase getting it on, or not getting it on, but he's got an old lady friend. She's the JAG officer for that sector. And they have history. She basically court-martialed him for the Stargazer incident where it went missing, and then the Ferengi, I think season 1 might have been, they found it and they tried to like do some mind manipulation, but we'll get to that episode, I'm sure. But anyway, so you get to meet Bruce Maddox. Yeah. You're like, hey, this is a great guy. They can bring him back in the future and really have something there. And so nope. Anyway, total dickhead, you can tell, of a man. But not a total like throwaway thing, like, you know, there's some humanity in him, but mostly he's a scientist. Yeah. Data's a machine. He wants to figure him out, and he wants to continue Dr. Soon's work and basically dissect Data, and it's so cold. Yeah. You know how he's just like, yep, I'm gonna take your android. Yeah. Yep.
Calls Data it all the time.
Right. And so he's like, I'm gonna take your android, and Data's just like very challenged, you can tell, and restrained. Like, he's like, I'm not going.
Yeah, he played that super well.
Right.
You know, especially being, the android and stuff, and having to play up to that, because that's hard. You have to convey emotion without conveying emotion,
Right. Yeah, he did.
Spiner was just so good at that.
He was very good at it. Yeah, he did a great job there. And so, yeah, you really felt for him, and it played into like, yeah, it's just like, don't take him away. He's my friend, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And of course, Maddox was played by Brian Brophy, I believe, who didn't reprise that role. Probably wasn't even asked. He was, at the time, I think he was, president at some theater in a college, but he probably would have came back.
I'm sure.
We'll get there. Yeah, you want more Maddox after this episode? Just you wait.
Yeah.
We're going to get there. Yeah, it was just crazy how it's like, shit, we're going to lose Data. And I liked how Data's like, put his foot down about it. And Picard even was like, hold up.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, he gets his friend involved. And, of course, they have a court trial, if you will. And they have to enlist Riker and Picard because there's no personnel there and then Riker has to basically defend Starfleet and Maddox because Starfleet's like, doesn't matter what you object to, Picard, it's our rule. We're gonna dissect them.
He played the role of prosecutor,
right,
to Riker or to Picard's defender.
Yes. And so Data had a great analogy about Geordi's condition. Geordi wears a visor, and it gives him like probably the best vision a human can have, or anyone can have.
Yeah, it exceeds the vision of a human, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, well, should Starfleet make that?
Make every human get those kind of eyes.
Right. That starts Picard's his thinking about, I got to challenge this.
I know, I like that because when he said that to Picard just had this look on his face, and all he said is, "You're dismissed." Because he had a lot to think about at that point. That was a really cool moment.
Yeah. So Data had a going away party, and it was they had a humorous moment where he was unwrapping things very gently to preserve the paper.
Yeah,
and
so you can use it again.
Right. And then because they're getting him shit before, like, you're supposed to rip it, So after they're like, what? He just rips it, and I'm like, that's a nice little humor, because this is a pretty serious episode, Of course, Riker is like, he's like, I gotta do my job, I gotta defend Maddox and everybody, and so
well, and he didn't want to at first.
No, he didn't, but he had to.
He tried to get out of it.
Right.
Said he wouldn't do it.
Right. He's my
friend. And that's when the judge said, well, if you don't do it, then I'm just going to rule against Data automatically.
Right.
And so Riker was pushed into doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you got his frustrations, especially when he finds a way in.
Yeah.
When he's looking through Data's schematics, and he's got a smile, but then it's quickly like, oh, God. This is not good. Like,
what am I doing here?
It's going to be so damaging. And of course, that is basically he discovered Data's off switch and how to remove his arm and all that stuff, just to prove like he's
machine
property or whatever. Yeah. He and that's what Maddox can't grasp. He's trying to treat Data like just like a remote control or something. Just so like. Just the way he goes about it, so cold. He just doesn't consider Data having feelings or anything like that. And then, of course, Picard gets a way in because he challenges Maddox, like, well, what makes you human? He's
sentient.
Like,
what makes you sentient?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like self-awareness, like survival. And so he's like, self-awareness. Like, can you prove I'm self-aware?
Right, yeah.
And basically he can't prove Data isn't human by definition, really, because Data's like definitely putting up a front, like, I don't want to be taken apart, and Picard has a nice moment with Guinan, who kind of points out, slavery basically, like a slavery analogy.
If you're going to build an army of Datas,
right,
and then just put them to work.
Right.
What's that like?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And which, I can't help but think what they did for Picard season 1. I'm like, oh, they kind of had some cool stuff, but
yeah.
But basically, like, you view them as disposable people. Well, that's how slavery was.
Right.
And it was something for Guinan to say, well, that might be too harsh. And Picard's like, no, it's not.
No, he didn't think so at all.
It's not. But he challenged Maddox to be like, well, if you create all these androids, these datas or whatever, they'll be a race. It's like, so that kind of seemed to do it in, you know. Yeah, but there's another great line. Picard's like, we too are machines, which is made from different creator, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, our children are made up from the DNA from their parents,
right?
You know,
yes,
and so we're all.
Are we property? Are they property?
Are we property?
Yep.
You know, and proving, you know, that, you know, one of his criteria was intelligence.
Right.
Is Data intelligent? Yes.
Yeah.
Is he self-aware?
Right.
You know, Data, what are you doing right now? You know, I mean, it was a perfect storm for Picard to be able to just knock those out.
Right.
And I can't remember the third point, what it was, but he did that too. You know, all three he went down and challenged, and it was great.
Yeah, he brought Data's gifts, especially Tasha Yar, the hologram, and you know, the gifts. Data said it was a reminder of friendship and his service with the metals. And with Tasha, at first he didn't want to say anything. He promised, and then he's like, "Go ahead." And we know this from the Naked Now episode or Naked Time. That he said they were intimate. So yeah, that was obviously a callback, and it made him more human, you know, to say that, because I'm sure Maddox was like, "What?"
Yeah, they were all kind of like, you know,
what
smokes? Yeah.
So yeah, the judge ends up, you know, realizing, like, well, you know, he has these things that humans have. Does he have a soul? And she's like, well, do I have a soul? I don't know. Right.
She can't say that he does or doesn't.
Right.
So he's free to choose that for himself.
Right.
You know, and phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know.
And, you know, I like how they just didn't make... You kind of sympathize with Maddox at the end a little bit. Like, I think he became aware of, like, he went too far in a way. Like, he just didn't think of Data, you know, being more than just a machine. And he finally said he's remarkable. And not it. Right. And then Data'd say, you know, keep doing your research. When it's time, I'll basically help. You know, do what I can. And so that left that little, you know, that door open. And I just watching this, I was like, God, I wish I could have liked season 1 of Picard so much more. I know. But man, it just, like, it had some ideas, but man, the fillers sucked, and it just really ruined things. They could have done so many cool things with Maddox, and they didn't. They didn't even bother to cast the same actor. So. Yeah, so it was a wasted opportunity, I think. It was. But, it was. You know, and I was reading online, and so I don't know if this was fleshed out, whether in comics or books or something, but it said that Data maintained contact with Maddox. Yes, I heard that from somewhere too. Yeah. So it just basically giving him progress reports on his life and everything. So, you know, as if to genuinely try to help Maddox. Yes. You know, and so, which again, you know, says a lot about Data. Yeah, for sure. I think it was another episode of TNG, maybe. I think Data had like a log entry. You know, you hear the voiceover, and it might have been like a little Easter egg. Then? Yeah. Okay, then maybe that's what it was. That might be it, but I did hear the same thing. Yeah. I think that's when it, you know, came to be again. But cool throwback then. Yeah, that's really neat. It's very cool. And I love fan fiction too, of course. So I'm sure they did a lot more things with fan fiction. Who knows? I mean, Maddox, you know, it was kind of interesting to see where Maddox was at, because I guess he did construct a positronic brain, I believe. But obviously it's like, it would have been interesting to see his attempts at Data's. And yeah, that some of that was interesting in Picard season 1. But yeah, they just really, they focus too much on the violence of things, and you know what I mean, it's just like, they took the brilliant setup in this episode, and they just dumbed it down. Maddox just has a shitty end, and they kind of nowadays can't think so much. We need to just blunt force trauma, boom pew pew, exactly. So I like how Picard at the end got a little nightcap, you believe, right? He's like, dinner. I know. He doesn't even. Man, dinner. He was so alpha there.
you know,
Yeah.
dinner.
Well, yeah, when they first meet, he's like, you know what I'd like to do to you right now?
Yeah.
I forgot her line, but it was basically like, whoa.
Yeah. Because he really wanted to just kill her, I think.
Yeah.
He was not happy with her.
Right.
But, so that was a cool ending to that piece of it.
Yes. And of course, like we were saying before, Riker, you know, felt terrible. Did not join the celebration.
Yeah, they were having
Data's,
a celebration in Data's honor, and Data goes and sees Riker in looks like a conference room type thing.
It's like, you son of a bitch. No.
Just looking out the window, and he didn't feel like he said he didn't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Data disagreed, told him why, and
yeah. It's like, if you hadn't participated, I wouldn't have had a trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was an injury to you saved my life, or something like that.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So that was just a really cool way to recap that.
Yeah. It was well done, and good setup, and like you were saying, everyone says season 3 is when it picked up. And by most accounts, that's true.
Yeah.
But
consistently.
Yes.
I would absolutely agree. Consistently.
Absolutely. Yep. But the first and second seasons, they've got some good ones in there that are
great moments.
This is one of them.
Yeah.
They were on to some stuff there, and the Klingon episode you mentioned, that was when Riker went over.
Yeah, he went over.
I like that
to be the
episode.
first officer on a Klingon ship.
Yes.
And
that's prior to this one. We need to explore that.
That's one of my top 5 TNG episodes.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
So good.
This was a good episode, and in case I haven't said it, there is an extended cut available on the Star Trek TNG Blu-rays, so I will check that out. They were able to go back and find some negatives and restore it, and it's drawn out more.
12 extra minutes of footage.
Yeah,
that's amazing, especially considering that that's just under a third.
Yeah.
Of the episode time, so I mean that's a substantial add-on.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm interested to see what that's all about.
I mean, God, the episode felt like it was like, because there's no commercials when I watched it. It felt like it was like 40 minutes. I think it was like really short and sweet.
43, something like that.
Yeah, and man, the rewatchability factor on these old episodes are so much better than now. Season 3 of Picard aside.
Yeah.
I'm just a curmudgeon, but it's just hard. It's like the rewatchability factor is just, I think it's because of the writing. It's just not there to me. But this shit's so good, and I could easily watch this again and again. And I kind of, honestly dreaded watching it to begin with. I know it's a good episode. I'm like, I don't want to see this, this trial, and it was just like,
I mean, you always think in the back of your head, because I'm like you, I've seen it multiple times. And every time I'm like, that's a tough one to watch, because you don't want to lose Data. But then as you're watching it, you're like, this is just brilliant.
Right. It's like, I don't like conflict.
Yeah. But it was it's one of the best ones.
Right. Absolutely. Any ideas which episode you want to do next? Put you on the spot. I mean, we've talked outside of this.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked before about like taking like one of the highest rated episodes, and this is a 9 on IMDb.
Yeah.
And then maybe doing like one of the lowest rated episodes.
Sure.
Just for funsies, and see how we can dress it.
Right.
But so maybe move away from TNG and hit.
Oh, so many things.
There's so many, because we can just keep bouncing back and forth, and
because there's documentaries I'd like us to see. Free Enterprise, which was done by Myra Burnett, so they'll kind of force you to watch some stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Me too. There's stuff out there I've not seen, and
our process was we threw a couple episodes out for this episode, and chose that one, and so we'll probably do that again the next time. Take a couple stinkers, so to speak, and at least rated.
Right.
And then we can maybe just have.
We can do
fun.
Pros and cons.
Pros
perhaps.
and cons. Yeah. What was great? What was not so great? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And judging off of like how much news there is really talk about, this is kind of like a catch up as well. So there's not much Star Trek news. We'll probably maybe try to do 2 episodes. An episode.
Jam a couple out. That'd be fun too. Because it is kind of a lull right now. I mean, all the news is kind of taking a break.
Yeah.
Which is okay, because we took a long break.
Yeah.
especially when there was news. But
Right.
So we're getting back into it.
Yes, we are, and who knows what the future is for Star Trek, because Paramount's for sale right now. And Byron Allen, I think he just put down what was it, $30 billion. So, I mean, I was going to do that first, but I was like, all right, you go ahead, Byron.
I know I threw in 28 and I got outbid.
Yeah, right.
But it's it is what it is.
Take your 28 billion and get out of here.
Yeah, I shouldn't have lowballed like I did, but legal team said I couldn't exceed. So.
But maybe with that, a new buyer will have better leadership, and maybe we'll get to
fire Kurtzman. Sorry.
Yes.
I had a cough. My bad.
Yeah, if he called and wanted to be on the show, I think I'd say no.
I'd say yes.
Oh, would you? Okay.
Just so I could rip into him very nicely.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like when I met Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Right.
I was so sad that he was so nice.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Because then I just felt guilty.
Yeah. You met him after the movie?
I met him after.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
At least he didn't ask you. Of course, you would have bullshitted your way through it, probably. Like, the best ever.
It was a brief deal, but he just couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Right, of course. Yeah, and Alex might be a nice guy, too. I don't like his decisions. He's not listening to the fans.
And
Terry
I can
Matalas
absolutely
did it.
separate the work from the person.
Yeah.
Because in general, usually I like the person and not the work.
Yeah.
Whereas like Tom Cruise, I like the work and not the person. I mean, so it's just and that's how it is. If you can separate those things, great. But
for sure,
and it's not that Jesse Eisenberg's just done nothing good.
Yeah,
just didn't care for his Luther.
Right.
Because he's done other things that are good.
Each part's a risk, and
Social Network. I mean,
yeah, of course, yeah.
Holy smokes, he's brilliant in that.
Pretty much was like they said, do that for Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
in a way.
Right. But in that role, he was just phenomenal.
Right.
And so.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, I said a lot of harsh things about him, and then I had to meet him.
Well, that mashup's coming.
Whoopsie daisy. Yeah, let's.
Best of Steve shitting on it, Jesse.
We were gonna delete all those.
Yes.
Just clips.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Put an elevator music.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Just like one of those records, like. Yeah.
Such a nice guy, though.
Yes.
That sucked.
Yeah. And I think Alex could be that too, but I don't want him in charge.
Yeah.
Don't want him in
charge. I would love to grill him about his
Yeah.
professional decision.
Right.
So.
Jesus. Yeah. But yeah. We'll do more episodes.
Yeah.
We'll be all over the place. So please tune in for more. Suggest down in comments if you want to an episode for us or anything to check out. Hopefully not hell. I don't want to do that. So, but yeah, work in progress with the set. This is our first video, like I said before, of the show. So hope you like it, and we will keep working on it. So until then. I'm Josh.
I'm Steve.
Live long and prosper. Is that a good outro?
Yeah, I like that.
Sure. All right. Take care. Engage.